The views expressed on this program are not necessarily those of Entercom Radio, its sponsors, or affiliates.
Alrighty, welcome to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. I'm your host, Harvey Freed. We have a star-studded panel today. We got John Cole right across from me. Hey, John.
How's it going today?
Fantastic. Welcome to the show, John. We got Harry Glanz always to my right.
Good morning, work family.
Yes. Good to see you,
How you guys
Harry.
doing today?
I'm doing awesome, man. We got a lot of good stuff here. We got great mortgage shows set up here. We got a lot of great college football all day on 97.1, and of course, high school football all over our area, the state of Michigan here, and we'll get into a little bit of that. And of course, we bring in Dan Dubinsky from downtown Royal Oak, Skyward Realty. Hey, Dan, what's up?
Not much. Good morning. Nice to see you guys.
Yeah, we haven't had you on in a while, Dan, so welcome back to the show. Always like to hear what's going on in your region of expertise. Of course, not only is it Royal Oak, because that's your bread and butter, but all of Southeast Michigan, there's no doubt about that. And always here to answer your calls on purchasing and refinancing. So got a lot to share with you.
Yeah, this is the week, Harvey, where people tend to start slowing down. It's Thanksgiving week. We have a lot to be thankful for. Of course, I'm thankful to be with you and John and Dan. I've got my nephew Hayden Dean in the studio, along with my wife, taking care of Hayden today. He's happy to be on Facebook Live with us. But, you have to stop and thank. Be thankful for what you have, and this is the start of the holiday season. But also, there's still business to be done during the holiday season. You can't forget that people are still buying homes, people are still selling homes, and people still need financing on those homes. And Dan Dubinsky's here. We're talking a little bit out there in the hallway before the show. That's our mighty show prep. That's where we do show prep, in the hallway. Dan was saying that even though it's been a great purchase year, another one, we foresee that, and we're going to come out with our prediction. Capital Mortgage Funding will come out with our stats in January of 18. The year's going to end up strong, right, Dan Dubinsky?
Yeah, we had a great year. We had multiple offers on listings and buyers and prices driving up. And what's nice about this time of year is, and I tell my agents this, is that if you get a call from a buyer, they're not tire kickers. They have to move. There's a reason they're coming into this time in the season. You don't see people just want to move now. That's obviously in the summertime, springtime. Now these guys are serious. And same with the sellers and a lot of their job transfers. But and again, it goes to working with a professional. Even in this market now, where we don't have the multiple offers, I had an offer the other day where they came over asking price with no other offers on the table.
Yeah. So John and Harvey, we always say, and there's always that conversation that we have. Does it get slower in the wintertime, which we know the answer is yes. But is wintertime the best time to go ahead and buy a house? We talk about that a lot. Dan, what do you say about that?
Well, I think it is. And one is there's not as much competition. Two is that you still have a lot of properties out there that are available. And again, we know the ones that are the listings they have to sell. The number one thing I think when people ask me when you're negotiating, what is the number one factor? It's the motivation of the seller. Why are they selling? And usually in the wintertime, you see that they have to sell.
Yeah, that's great points. Good stuff here. 248-539-9797. We're going to take your calls all morning long. The inventory in the existing homes for sale obviously has been on the lower side, but it's been gangbusters since, John, and you know that since 2013. The market's been off the charts. So, again, home purchasing here in Southeast Michigan still is going to continue over the next several years. There's just no possible way that the new construction is able to keep up with the amount of first-time home buyers. And, John, I know you work with a lot of first-time home buyers. And then, of course, the families making their next move up. You're sort of in that age group where now the families, they're getting away from their first-time house, and now their family's larger, and they're going to step it up a little bit.
Yeah, I was just going to say to Dan that a lot of our buyers right now are people who have to sell their home and also buy a new home. So, the hard part for them is, coordinating both to happen at the same time. A lot of people want to buy before they've sold so that they can make that move and that transition to the new home a little bit easier. But then what do they do, and how quickly can they get rid of their home?
And that's the questions you have to ask. When we get a phone call and they say they want to buy something, we ask them the key questions. Have you been pre-approved? Do you have something to sell? Do you need to sell that before you can buy something else? And in this market, you can't make offers contingent upon the sale of your home anymore. It just doesn't fly. So what you have to do is you have to put your home on the market first. While we go out there, and what I typically like to do is take them out there to show them a bunch of homes, a sampling of homes, to show them that something will be their area they like and the home they like for the price that they can afford, and then they're comfortable enough putting their home on the market. Now, what we can do is make their home, the sale of their home, contingent on them finding a home. And usually we know that they're comfortable doing that. And, it's always what comes first. And so the timing issue is sensitive, but it always works out.
And they got to make sure they know what they're going to get out of their home, because that's important. Some people think that they're going to get much more than they actually do, and that leads into what you're going to be able to buy.
Without a doubt. And, fortunately now we're not having this discussion about appraisals like we used to because, the summer.
And why is that? Explain to everybody why that is.
Somebody knock on some wood.
Yeah. So what's happened, the summer prices and all those homes that have sold are now recorded. And the appraisers are using those numbers, and those numbers are inflated because a lot of those people paid extra. They put cash on top of their loan to make sure they got the home, and those numbers are now showing up for current sales.
So right now, when you're looking to buy a home, you're using sales from October, September, August, July, and June as comparables. Months. The hottest time to buy a house was the summer. So now all the home sales are coming in, and the appraisers are using those prices as comparables on the homes that have sold in that neighborhood.
Yeah, exactly. And we're seeing that, the homes that these were, inflated for some reason. We talk about why people are paying more. It's because it's it's where your home is. It's not, people shouldn't look at it as an investment anymore. It's how you want to live and what you want to pay. And so it'll be a home might be worth something to someone else and more to someone else.
All right. It's supply and demand. It's economics 101. My 11-year-old nephew, Hayden Dean, knows about that. He's a smart guy. He's an economics and math whiz, and he even knows that Matt Stafford is a great quarterback. He even knows that.
Well, he got the highest amount of money, so that means
he's great. High demand, right? Supply and demand.
Hey, gentlemen, we're
not a lot of great quarterbacks, a lot of money.
Second string lines, no one knows.
Let's go to a call this morning here. We'll start things off. 248-539-9797. If you want to join us, we got Rudy on the line. Good morning, Rudy. Welcome to our show.
Good morning.
Morning, Rudy.
I have a question. I have a primary house right now, which I have approximately $80,000 equity. I'm not going to sell the house. My question is, I'm thinking about buying another house and making that my primary house. Can I combine both mortgages into one?
Not easily. No, you're going to want to just keep them separate. The tax, you get the tax deduction regardless on one home versus the other. The only thing that you're going to worry about when you buy the new house and keep your existing home is that your property taxes on your old existing home are going to go up because it's going to be non-homestead anymore. But that's just playing the game.
Yeah. The other house is going to be higher taxes anyway, so it'll be cheaper for me to homestead the other house.
Do you need the equity out of your existing home to be able to purchase the new home?
No, I do not.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Sounds like you're in great shape. We're going to have to get you, Rudy, we're going to have to get you an approval letter right away. You're going to need a mortgage for the new purchase, correct?
I've already got that. So I've already been approved for well beyond what the house is for sale.
Great. Rudy, what area of town you buying the new house? Where are you buying the new house?
The Lake, Manitoba Beach, Devils Lake area.
Okay. All right. Up north or Oxford area.
No,
Up north of North Oakland County?
Up north of us.
Yeah. North of here.
No, it's Irish Hills West.
Oh, okay, over there. Okay,
Hills.
very good. Towards Jackson.
That's
fantastic, man. That is good stuff. Well, that's going to be really exciting for you. We appreciate your call. If you need any help with the mortgage, we'd love to talk with you. That's for sure.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rudy. All right, 248-539-9797. We definitely want to hear from you. You got to get a real true approval letter. And I'll tell you, I'll be following up with Rudy regardless because so often, John, again, this is a consumer advocate show, and this is not monkey business. This is real stuff.
Right.
And so often we do talk to clients who think they have something all set up and they really don't.
Well, the other thing that Rudy really needs to take a look at is his current existing mortgage. Make sure, once he converts that from his primary residence to an investment property or a vacation home or whatever he's going to call it, it's going to be a little bit harder to finance. So he might as well take a look at what his existing home now and if he needs to change his financing.
Well, the good news is, John, is that it's relatively a low mortgage amount. It's an $80,000 mortgage amount. He can probably lay his head on his pillow at night, sleep well, and feel good about it.
Well, we just don't want him to be in an arm that's adjusting, right?
I hope not. We don't. Hey, there's always that possibility, and we can't stand those arms. It's not an arm market. Do not take out an arm.
Yeah, they're good for some, bad for others.
Not for Harry.
We got a lot to go over today. We're going to be talking about actually renovation loans today because John's an expert on that. We're going to get into FHA 203K loans and the conventional program. So if you're out there and you've sort of been picking through all the homes out there, and this really segues into what you do, Dan, is because many of the homes that are left out there might have everything going for it but one thing. It doesn't have that updated kitchen, or it doesn't have the remodeled or the hardwood floors and things of that nature. And these are things that you can purchase a house if 4 or 5 of the top things on your wish list items are there. again, find out if there's a loan out there that will give you the equity and the money to work with so you can go ahead and make the house, your house.
Yeah, those purchases, part of the reason people like to buy new builds is they can pick and choose what the colors of the cabinets and the flooring and everything else. What this does is lets you buy in a mature area that has an existing home, but you can still do those things. So I think it's the best of both worlds where you can pick out the cabinets, the countertops and all that. So it has more of the feel of your home as opposed to, the only other option is buying a new build. And so I think it's great product.
It helps with the appraisal on that home as well, because we are not appraising the home as it stands. We're appraising the home as the repairs being done, called subject to. And so we make sure that we get all the plans and specs that they're going to do to fix up the home, and we appraise based upon future value after the work has been done. So it helps that the purchase price isn't as important to the appraisal, but more, we lean on, somebody like Dan for his expertise to make sure that the repairs that they're putting into the home are going to warrant the value.
And you can add additions, from my understanding, as well.
Absolutely.
A lot of things you can do. All right. We are the mortgage experts. When we come on back here, 248-539-9797, all of your calls.
Hi, Harry Glantz and Dan Burke for Capital Mortgage Funding. We do loans everywhere. In Southfield, in Birmingham, in Royal Oak, in Groseal, in Detroit, in Canton, in Northville. No matter where you live, we want to do your mortgage too. That's Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
Alrighty, welcome back here. We are giving you another 15 minutes worth of the Hardcore Mortgage Show. Again, want to thank everyone. If you want to call the office, definitely get that approval letter. 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker here at the studio, 248-539-9797. We want to thank Randy Brandt for coming in from Real Team Real Estate. I got a couple listings here. We were just sort of checking them out, a couple awesome houses. One of the things I did ask you just now, Randy, I won't hold a punch. I said, hey, what about that one? Why isn't it sold? And you said, it ultimately becomes the price. And sometimes the seller's motivation just isn't there right now. But as an agent, you want to leave the listing up, of course. You want an opportunity to make the sale.
Yeah, absolutely. When we walk into a listing appointment, obviously we want to hear why they want to move, why they need to move, so on and so forth. Everybody has their value of their home, what they think it's worth. Excuse me. And we try to accommodate that the best we can, but we do have these things, we do market comparative analysis. So we know what it actually is going for on the current market, what's being sold around that's comparable to this home. And at the end of the day, yes, it is the seller. And, if they want to list it high, we'll definitely do everything we can and try and accommodate. But there are times when we have to have that talk of, all right, well, we need to bring it down a little bit because it's just not moving as quickly as we want.
I mentioned it recently. It seemed like somebody bought a box full of those just reduce signs because I see them on a lot of the homes that haven't sold over the summertime in a hot market. Mm-hmm. Again, typically it's an overpriced home. We talk to the professional agents out there, and they are saying that if your house has not sold in 2 months, in 3 months, if you're listing a house out there and you're trying to sell one, again, you got to open your eyes and talk to these agents. They know if they're telling you, look,
not
folks,
all of them.
That's true. Not all of them.
Okay.
There's a lot that'll walk in and I'll go, I'm all about the competition. I grew up playing sports. I'm all into it. So when somebody looks at me and goes, well, I'm meeting with three other agents. Yeah,
Which is a bonus.
She did play hockey.
So
did play ice hockey.
And they tell you, hey, there's some people, they're getting interviewed.
I walked into one out in East Point Friday, and he said, I'm meeting with a couple other agents. Great, go for it. At the end of the day, I'm going to call you Monday, and you and I are going to sign documents because I know what I can do for you. He's got it up for sale by owner right now, which is fine. You can try it. Are you going to have qualified buyers? No, you literally have it listed on Craigslist, which is probably one of the scariest things I've heard.
Oh boy, is that a bad idea?
It's awful because now you've got random people calling.
Why don't you listen on Backpage?
Oh, no, you just went too far.
No, I didn't. Trust me.
That's Alex's
there's
mom.
Trust me.
But there's no doubt you're allowing strangers in your house.
That's not the
You
worst
are,
thing I've said.
and especially
To Jamie and Stoney every Wednesday at 7:15 on 97.1 The Ticket.
Well, welcome back to the show, 9:18. If you're just joining us, I can't say it's a gorgeous Michigan day out there, but it's a wonderful day. How's that? November 18th.
Well, you could say it. It wouldn't be accurate, but you could say whatever you want.
You know, here, I'm glad you started off. We got Thanksgiving week coming up, of course, next week, and a happy, healthy one to all your families out there and friends, and be safe. And
well, I'm thankful, Harvey. You know, every day you wake up and you're thankful for a lot of things. You're thankful to wake up, and B, I'm thankful to work with the people that I have to work with every day and see all you guys. And I really mean that. I just don't say that. I enjoy being with people, talking to people, hanging out with people, and helping people. And I think that's the main thing that we do. So Thanksgiving just brings it, between Thanksgiving, Christmas, the New Year, it brings it all into perspective. You're going to hang out with your family. You're going to hang out with the people at work. But we can't forget that there are things that we have to get done for people, right? Sellers still want to sell houses. Buyers want to buy houses. And our clients want to move into those houses. And guess what? They want to entertain in their new house during the holidays.
Yeah, do you have time to do it?
So we have to. It's incumbent upon us to make sure that those things happen. Yes. We have to make that happen. I know Dan likes to hear that, right?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, and sometimes your buyers, your clients can be their own worst enemy. And sometimes you have to give them a little kick in the butt and show them that you can't come in 10% light on this home right now. It's going to be a waste of everyone's time. If you really want this house, put the effort forth, and I'm telling you what everyone else is buying. Everyone's getting 100%, 98%, 90%. Why would they accept 90 or 88% of the offer?
Yeah.
And I've done that, and people, hem and haw, and they do it, and then after the fact, they'll say thanks for kicking me in the butt and doing that, because what's going to happen? Interest rates might go up. Homes are appreciating.
Rates are going to go up.
So the fact that you wait, it's just going to hurt you in the long run.
So John and Harvey, what we say to people, I know John's had this to happen to him several times, so have I and Harvey over our careers. During the holiday times, people like to go out and they, first of all, they go ahead and they apply for a mortgage. They found a home. Now it's the holiday time, so what do? They go out and they start buying gifts. Right? They start running up their charge cards. They might want to go buy the furniture special. They want to go lease a new car. Everything's happening because it's such a great time of year. And then sometimes it jeopardizes their mortgage approval, John.
Oh, yeah. I mean, too many times we've seen that people's credit cards have inflated since application. And unfortunately, we have to run inquiries through the process of getting your mortgage to see what your balances are, because that's just the new guidelines, and it's hard.
We're going to take a call here. Let's go out to Ron out in Ortonville. Ron, thanks for calling the show, and welcome. Go ahead.
Yeah, hi, guys. I had a question about a reverse mortgage. I've got a neighbor that has 10 acres of land next to me, and I have 5. And I've discussed this year about purchasing half of their land. It's undeveloped in the backside, but they've taken out a reverse mortgage, so I'm not sure if they're able to split up the land at all.
Well, you're going to buy 5 acres. They're not going to allow that reverse mortgage just to go on 5 when they've got it leaned on 10. If you know the amount and you're going to buy it, does the amount that you're purchasing it for cover the payoff on the reverse mortgage? Because you have to pay it off. It's a lien on the property.
Okay, it is on the whole 10. Yeah, I have to find out. I haven't really gone that far. I'm really in the investigative stage. I've approached the neighbors about it, and we really don't know how much they have on the reverse mortgage at this time.
Right. Are they receptive to wanting to sell that parcel? And you have to get it split. You have to get it split through the through the county or through the city.
Correct. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, they are acceptable to splitting. They actually, when I approached them, they said they wished they had approached me at first, and we had just moved out here a few years ago, and we were trying to get a little bit more financially secure before I approached them about purchasing that from them.
Okay, so the lien on the property is a reverse mortgage. It's the same kind of lien as on a first standard mortgage or even a home equity loan. There's going to be a lien on the property, so that lien has to be satisfied.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, first thing first is, get with the municipality, make sure what you need to do to be able to split the property.
Right.
Split the property, and then make sure that what you're buying the 5 acres for will cover the lien that covers the entire 10. And then you should be fine. It's just like any other mortgage. So, and then they have land that's for the remaining 5 that would be free and clear.
Yep, exactly. All right.
I'm not going to ask you what you're going to do with the land, Ron, so good luck to you. I'm going to let you go on that one, but good luck.
Are you going to build a baseball field on it? What are we going to do with that land?
Field of Dreams.
I like it.
Maybe a little bit of hunting out here. So.
All righty.
There
you can
you
do
go.
that. All right. Thanks for the call.
Care,
Appreciate it. 248-539-9797. A lot of the boys are out hunting right now and headed that way. I think it's great. Look, there's deer everywhere. So if that's your thing, good luck to you. Be safe out there and obviously control the herd because there are deer everywhere in Southeast Michigan. So definitely good luck to all the
John
hunters.
Kelly's out hunting.
Oh, a lot of people are definitely headed to the hills there.
When you have deer in Royal Oak, you've got a lot of deer out there.
A lot out there. Hey, John, you mentioned right before we went to the break, and come and join the show, 248-539-9797, talking about families that might be moving forward with a home purchase, and all of a sudden they might want to buy a new car, add some additional credit inquiries. One thing I want to point out that a lot of families don't understand is if it's 12 months same as cash or 24 months same as cash or 36 months same as cash, that's going to show up as a lien on your credit report. That's a debt. And that monthly debt does count against you. So it's very important to understand that even though that creditor might not actually want the money, it does show as a debt on your credit report. So even though there's no payments due for 12 months or 24 months, that is a debt on your credit report. And it could take you out of qualifying for a mortgage. You got to be careful.
Well, even if it doesn't take you out of qualifying for a mortgage, going with those same as cash for 24 months with, the big box stores.
Yes.
It can actually hurt your credit because when you go in there and you're going to say, okay, I'm going to buy a bunch of stereo furniture, TVs, whatever, and it comes to $5,000. What is the credit card that they approve you for? $5,000.
Right.
So all of a sudden that shows up in your credit report is a maxed out credit card. All right. So, and that's, your credit scores are derived by the amount of equity versus the amount of debt on that credit card. So all of a sudden you've got a brand new card that's maxed out. Now, the intentions are great. Pay it down over 24 months without paying any interest. Fantastic. But what we see and what the credit reporting agencies see is all of a sudden it's a maxed out credit card and it can affect your credit score. So you got to be careful with that.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with waiting till after your purchase is closed and always wait. Yeah. We're always going to tell you if you're out there thinking about doing something or your lease is coming up, sometimes it's just easier to extend your lease another month. And we've had this come up and then go ahead and maybe do that after the transaction.
Yeah.
Well, we always talk about the do's and don'ts when after you apply for a mortgage, we say don't change jobs. Don't increase your liabilities. Don't open up new credit cards. Don't buy or lease a new car. Okay, don't deposit large sums of money in your bank account that you're going to take the down payment from unless you have proper documentation. There are so many don'ts that you do not want to do during the process.
Right.
But they come up because guess what? People are people. Human behavior is what it is. We're going to do what we want to do when we want to do it, regardless if we're going through a financial transaction. Can't do it. Don't do it.
Even if that lease payment is going down, it doesn't matter.
Right.
I've got a buddy who did this on a purchase 5 days outside of closing on his new home, and he's probably listening, Gary Heiklin. And he went out and he said, I got a new car, but my payment went down. I said, that's great, but we need that old payment to be moved off the credit report and the new payment to be put on the credit report, and it pushed the closing back.
A lot of things you can do to prevent some headaches, definitely. Hey, home ownership is very exciting stuff, Harry. It's a bit scary. I mean, truly, the knowledge is the key to it, and that's what you do by calling a mortgage banker. You start building your knowledge bank up and make everything that much flawless, really that much easier for everyone involved in the transaction. Again, call Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage bank. I know we have a full staff all morning long. Again, 1-800-569-7283. We're up against a quick break. When we come back, that's going to wake us all up, that's for sure. When we come back, all your calls.
Hi, Harry Glantz and Dan Burke for Capital Mortgage Funding. We do loans everywhere. In Southfield, in Birmingham, in Royal Oak, in Grosse Ile, in Detroit, in Canton, in Northville. No matter where you live, we want to do your mortgage too. That's Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. Hi, Harry Glantz and Dan Burke for Capital Mortgage Funding. We do loans everywhere. In Southfield, in Birmingham, in Royal Oak, in Grosse Ile, in Detroit, in Canton, in Northville. No matter where you live, we want to do your mortgage too. That's Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
That's going to wake up all our listeners out there. Good morning. If you're just tuning into the Hardcore Mortgage Show, we are brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding of 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. Always here in the studio, 248-539-9797. We talk
How many
about
years have we
mortgages
been
and real
doing
estate.
this show, Harp?
Coming up on 18 years here
long-
this January.
long time. Yeah, it's
18
good.
years this January. We thank all the callers, of course, always for calling. And we want to hear from you. If you're out there purchasing a home or looking to refinance your mortgage, definitely give us a call here. We can talk some things out. So many families out there still with land contracts that they have to pay off. They might have entered into land contracts when they were going through the tougher times, our recession that we had here and across the country in the early, let's say 2008, 9, 10. So a lot of families have these great opportunities out there. And that's who we want to invite to call the show, too. If you had also a past bankruptcy, foreclosure, it doesn't mean that, it's all over for you. You can get back into the game and become a homeowner. And again, homeownership, it's not always for everybody, but if you're planning on staying here and putting a gorgeous roof over your head, it's something you definitely want to take a look at. Again, 248-539-9797.
Harvey brought up a great point about the land contracts. A recorded land contract is just like a refinance. It's a very simple transaction to pay that off. And a lot of times a land contract, you're going to pay a very high interest rate, 8, 9, 10% on that. If it's recorded, it's a refinance transaction. It's very simple. We do an appraisal. You can even take cash out on that. I have a transaction right now.
Make sure it's recorded. If it's not recorded, then you're going to be in a world of
Go ahead.
trouble.
Exactly.
Go ahead. I'll stop. Go ahead.
No doubt,
Yeah.
Joe. And getting clients organized for those transactions too. Again, if you have a land contract and you haven't,
It was a good point, though.
for example,
Pre-recorded.
keeping a copy of your canceled checks, your bank statements, the documentation of support. If you guys have any side deals going on, such as on land contracts, sometimes if you pay it off by a certain date, you can go ahead and get a discount on that payoff. Again, get more professional people involved in your real estate transactions to have a better result. And we have 248-539-9797. Open lines all morning long. Harry, I always want to get into the mortgage banking aspect of educating our borrowers out there. I know the real estate agents, it's nonstop. It's always educating borrowers to sort of go with the times. And as you're out there, as we went from the summertime and maybe nonstop overbidding on houses and not getting that offer accepted, now we are in a slightly different time.
Yeah, the market has definitely been doing a little bit of a roller coaster ride, actually, over the last, I want to say, since June. It was crazy strong for the first part of the year, and then we kind of had this roller coaster ride. The biggest thing is real estate agents, I think, and I know we project this in our team meetings, we talk about it all the time, is not assuming our buyer knows anything, not assuming our seller knows anything, and to constantly keep them abreast of what's happening. It's a very big, complicated transaction from beginning to end. And our job is to not say, oh, well, I thought you would know that because I've done it 40 times myself, but you haven't.
Day, every day. This is 97.1 The Ticket.
Brought to you by Mercedes-Benz of Novi. Pistons blow a 22-point lead in Indiana. They fall 107-100. Red Wings get goals from Tatar, Glendening, and Larkin. And 19 saves from Jimmy Howard en route to a 3-1 home victory over Buffalo at the LCA last night. We have Michigan football today right here on 97.1 The Ticket. Kickoff at 12 noon from Madison. The Wolverines a 7-point underdog to the undefeated Badgers. MSU a 15-point favorite at home today against Maryland. That's a 4 p.m. kickoff. Lions in Chicago tomorrow looking for win number 3 in a row. Bad news for defensive end Ziggy Ansah. He is out with a back injury. Running back Dwayne Washington out with a hip. Neither has practiced this week. I have the Ticket Update Desk. I'm Jeff Lesson. For more, 97.1 theticket.com.
In your radio, in your computer, and now in your pocket. Push, click, and listen.
97.1 The Ticket.
Welcome back to the show, 9:31. If you're just joining us, it's the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. Always live here in the studio, 248-539-9797. I'm Harvey Freed, Harry Glanz. John Cole from Capital Mortgage Funding. We brought in Dan Dubinsky from Skyward Realty. If you're just joining us, Dan has always tons of information to share with us. Dan, the inventory's been the talk of the town, but there's a lot of things going on in the mortgage and real estate world. One of the things is how the internet affected our industry over the years. We see it on the mortgage side. I know you see it on the real estate side too. It's a great place to start with some investigation of looking for homes or even getting some knowledge behind you about mortgages. But at the end of the day, if you hit the wrong button, you can be bombarded by people that pay a lot lot of money to get your business.
Sure.
They may not be qualified. They might not even be qualified.
Yeah, listen, we get calls all the time, and people ask them how they're identifying homes. And what they say, well, they'll go on the Century 21 website, they'll go on Zillow, they'll go on Remax. What's nice about having one agent that you work with and you trust, what we do is we put that criteria that you want in the computer. And, if people don't know, the MLS is a cooperative group where Remax, everyone puts their properties in. And what's nice about that, especially in the market recently where the properties would fly off the market, once you put that criteria in and someone from Remax, say, list a property with your criteria tomorrow, you automatically get an email that says this property that fits your criteria came on the market. When you're looking at individual websites, there's a delay of 2 or 3 days. By the time you get there and you see that property may be gone.
Well, Dan, isn't it a little bit more than that too? I mean, you can see anything on the internet that you want.
Sure.
And the representation on the internet isn't always as it is in real life. So you need a realtor. You need somebody like that's an expert in that area. That when the picture looks really, really good on the internet, or conversely, when the picture looks really bad on the internet. I mean, why would you put a bad picture on the internet? I don't know.
Listen,
dating sites. You tell me.
Yeah, well,
you just have to see that property in person, and you have to get to know it. And by the way, you're the guy that knows that property inside and out.
Yeah, I'm old enough. I remember when we still use the computer and the internet, but when people had access to, they could go on and get these properties through the MLS. I remember that people were worried that the realtors would be obsolete. What we found is that when you get a buyer and seller together, you still need a middleman to make this deal happen. And one, to negotiate, emotions get in play.
Well, relationships,
and listen,
knowledge base.
Half the stuff that my clients want me to tell the other agent or
you can't tell them.
No, you want you got to.
You want to, but you can't.
Right, and so our job is to make it a win-win. No matter what they say, you turn the verbiage around to make it a positive. And at the end of the day, they're going to be sitting at the same table at the end, and closing, and hopefully in a happy situation.
Well, just like there are do's and don'ts during the mortgage process, there are do's and don'ts that realtors have to live by too.
Without a doubt. And a lot of those things are people want to inspections. They always say, well, we'll beat them up over the inspection. And what I tell them is, I said, listen, we're looking at a seller's disclosure. That should tell us everything's wrong with the house that the seller is aware of. So we can't come back if it says the roof is 25 years old. We can't come back and say we need money off for the roof, because we're basing our offer on it being an old roof.
Well, you already knew it.
You know it going in.
We know it going in. So
right.
When the inspections are only when we ask for a concession for inspections, it was only for surprises. And a lot of times, if the seller is truthful, it's a surprise to the seller as well that they didn't know that.
Yeah, that's great knowledge right there. That's good stuff.
Yeah, so you make your offer based on the information you have, and then the surprises are where you can add something onto it.
All right, really good stuff. 248-539-9797. Anyone out there buying or selling a home, running into some of these issues, we definitely want to hear from you. A lot of times there's information that we discuss on the air truly helps several families out there, and that's the key. If you can help somebody out, again, that's the words we live by, is really to provide a lot of knowledge. Come to us if you want to save money and really build your knowledge bank. Again, a lot of families out there are helping their younger ones. I'm getting up there in age, and soon I'll be working with my kids on purchasing a house. And again, it's
actually they're going to be going with me.
They're going to probably come with you, John. That's for sure. But definitely, why not build that knowledge bank and deal with people you can trust? Again, we love sharing that information with you. Also, what we've run across is so many people out there still looking to purchase a house. There are things you can do to help your credit. We talk credit obviously plays a major role in obtaining a mortgage. The higher your credit score, the 760 and above credit scores, get you the best possible interest rates out there. Well, there's a lot of things you can do if you're just under that, John. As you know, if you're a 700, 720, a 740, you can typically bump up your credit score by maybe just paying down a credit card bill to 10% of the allowable balance. So we have some tricks of the trades. We have the Credit Expert program. And if you're not calling Capital Mortgage, you're probably not saving enough money. So be sure, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
Yeah, you got to be prepared. And it's better to call early than late. And if you're waiting until the last minute when you see that house that you have to make an offer on today and you haven't had someone pull your credit and take a look at, and you have an issue that pops up, yeah, you're going to have a slightly higher interest rate, an increased monthly PMI if you're not putting 20% down. So it's always better to just, hey, let us take a look. Here, we can give you good advice. There's zero incentive for us to have people with lower credit than higher credit. We want to make sure that we put everybody in the best position. It's also going to help when you go to get your homeowner's insurance.
Yeah, the good news
keeps going to be cheaper.
No doubt about that. And the good news keeps rolling in from home ownership, of course. 1.4 million homes now are not severely underwater. Again, the appreciation across the United States has really led to us getting away from all of those homes. And there were millions of them that were severely underwater. Now we see it across the United States. I think Louisiana now is still the highest state with the least amount of appreciation. Again, other states have really improved. We were one of the 5 that were in really, really bad shape for a long time. So we're definitely moving in the right direction here. 248-539-9797. Let's move off to Victor in New Hudson. Good morning, Victor. You're live on the ticket. Go ahead.
Hey, guys. How are you?
Real good. What's up?
Good. Thanks for calling, Victor.
A few years ago, I just want to retouch. A few years ago when we were looking for a house, we tried the Zillow approach, these other websites and different things like that. And I totally agree with what you're saying. It was like chasing a ghost. We'd find a house on Zillow, and we would be all giddy and happy and everything. And by the time we contacted somebody, it was, that house has been off the market for almost a week or 10 days. It's just a lot of these sites don't update their stuff on there for a week or two.
Zillow's a lead producer for agents, is what it is.
Yeah, that's what the people don't know out there. You just gave away the secret, Dan.
Yeah, and so many times I talk to my friends and family that are looking for houses. I'm saying, "You working with an agent?" "Oh no, we use Zillow." I'm like, "Oh God, that's like."
The internet is great for getting information, but you still need to have that professional that's going to be there looking out for you.
Well, then you have to verify the information, John.
Right.
I mean, you can get all the information you want, but if it's inaccurate, we talk about disseminating accurate versus inaccurate information.
Wait, you can't get a Cadillac Denali for $200 a month right now?
Right. I got you.
I thought that was available.
I think it's 8,000 miles a year. You can't drive too far. You can drive it, but you can't drive too far.
Or you got to put like $15,000 down.
Right, there you go. That's it.
Victor, thanks for the call, man. I really appreciate
Love the
it.
show, guys. Listen to you every week.
Outstanding. Thank you, sir. 248-539-9797. We got a lot of open lines here if you want to join us. There's no doubt, and Victor just told you, communication is still the key to sharing information and getting those professionals involved in whatever city you're looking at. Again, get a professional real estate agent. They typically will hook you up with a great mortgage banker that has all sorts of knowledge and gives you all sorts of choices. That way, you build that knowledge bank. It's going to make it a really nice experience. I wrote it down. I said, nothing's better than having experienced people when you're purchasing the most expensive thing you're going to purchase in your lifetime. That's for sure.
Yeah, you need to use professionals, and good agents in certain areas are going to know what's happening in there. We know if parks are being built. We know if there's going to be taxes that are going to be coming up. Royal Oak just passed a millage. It's $59 million for the schools, which are going to certainly help out, but it doesn't raise your taxes at all. So those are the things that are important. We know when the Kroger was being built and people are looking at the properties. It wasn't built yet, but why are they so cheap?
Well, you also know what the neighbors are doing to their houses. They plan on selling. Did they update their house? What do they feel about the neighborhood? Because believe it or not, everybody out there, what your neighbor does with their house is going to affect the value and the circumstances on your house.
Certainly, in some loft situations or condo situations, we can tell how many are renters compared to how many are living homeowners, right. And that makes a difference, right? The homeowner is going to take care of their condo more so than a renter. So that's very important when you're purchasing, and things that you don't think you can find out, you can find out.
Yeah, that's all great stuff here. 248-539-9797. We urge you to call Capital Mortgage Funding. Again, we have an office full of loan officers all weekend long. 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. Get the knowledge you need and keep the money in your pocket. We'll be right back.
Hi, Harry Glantz and Dan Burke for Capital Mortgage Funding. We do loans everywhere. In Southfield, in Birmingham, in Royal Oak, in Groseal, in Detroit, in Canton, in Northville. No matter where you live, we want to do your mortgage too. That's Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
Back to the show, 946. If you're just joining us, it's the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show in our
favorite
17
hour
plus
of the
year.
week.
Alex's favorite hour of the work. Hey, we take all your calls. 248-539.
10 hours.
9797. Nice, Harry.
I'm well compensated. Thank you.
Hey, we got jam-packed sports here. Keep it on 97.1 all day. By the way, the Pistons are doing some awesome work down at the new Little Caesars Arena. Of course, the Red Wings getting back on track.
Last night. Went to the Piston game last night.
Cool stuff. A lot of cool vibe things going on here in Southeast Michigan. There's no doubt about that. Caitlin, we already corrected you. You're all good. We know Caitlin does real estate all over Michigan, the whole state.
She's amazing. She
Caitlin,
really is.
Speaking, that comes from a guy who's used to being corrected every day.
Oh, thank you, guys.
I'm okay with
That's
it.
okay.
I have baby brain. I'm actually expecting my first child, so
That's a great excuse, by the way, but you're fine. And Laura, you got a couple great open houses coming up if you wanted to drop a little information on that.
Absolutely. Sunday, 12 to 2. One is in Poppleton Park, 937 Henley, beautifully restored.
Oh, yeah.
It absolutely is.
It definitely is. Tudor.
Old
Just
English
gorgeous.
Tudor?
I can't say anything better about it. And
How
the
many
other
square
one,
feet- how many square feet is
it's
it?
26, almost 2,700 square feet.
Like it.
Top to bottom. Absolutely gorgeous on a double lot in Poppleton.
Wow.
12 to 2 on Sunday. And then the other one is in Bloomfield Township. That's 4344 Sunningdale. It's what everybody wants. It's a ranch with a lower level walkout.
Oh, wow.
Priced under $5. So
nice.
Oh, I know the street.
It's outstanding. Come and see them.
Those are two great listings. I didn't think you I didn't even know what you were going to say, but those are two great opportunities
Thank
for
you.
families out there. Again, you can always call Capital Mortgage Funding. We'll hook you up with these great ladies and make sure you get that approval letter in your hand. Then you can go out and make a great offer on the house. Again, so many opportunities out there if you're still trying to buy a house. We talked about it, and it sort of becomes the conversation here. Is there good inventory? Is there bad inventory? Your expectations change. It's always a fun conversation to have. But again, where there's an opportunity, there might be an opportunity for you. If you don't love the house, again, maybe you could buy it for all the right reasons and potentially maybe sell it. And maybe there's some down the road where you're going to profit from it in some capacity. There's not a ton of brand new inventory. They're starting to build a whole bunch.
Yes.
And you've got a couple of the projects going on, including those condominiums in Northville. So a couple.
Anytime, anywhere.
97.1 The Ticket.
We are back. 9:45 if you're just joining us. You know, why not with this long bed of music here, talk about some great things that are going on here locally. We've got a ton of high school football going on and all your calls here.
Who won last night, Harv?
Well, we have tonight, Harry. Everything's this afternoon. We've got CC Catholic Central versus Clarkston. The boys at Farmington Hills Harrison taking on Riverview. How about De La Salle taking on Detroit King? And none other than West Bloomfield taking on Cass Tech. I think I'm headed there.
I bet you are.
So a lot of exciting stuff. If I left your school out, Madison Heights, how about that, John? The boys at Madison Heights taking on Saugatuck. Livonia Franklin's in the mix. So a lot of local
Let's
teams
go
here.
Lakers.
All right, we're definitely going to support all the
That's your
local
alma mater,
teams out
John.
there.
That's right.
I love high school football. I love the sense of community and everything that goes around with high school football, the band, everything that's involved. And the communities get behind all the teams here locally, and that's what makes it fun. Be part of that and find out how you could become a homeowner by calling Capital Mortgage Fund and getting that approval letter. Let's move on to Zach out there in Chesterfield. Good morning, Zach. You're live on the ticket.
Good morning. How's it going, guys?
Morning, Zach.
What's up?
So I love the show. Listen to it almost every Saturday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Not a problem. So my girlfriend and I were just looking to buy a home pretty soon, maybe, in the winter, early spring. And I was just curious what you guys thought, how much home I could afford. So combined, we're, 28 to $3,000 take home, and our bills are like $1,500.
Well, we don't go off a take home, so we go off your gross income. So
Okay.
we'll take we'll take your gross income, and then we'll take a ratio off of that and subtract out your monthly debts. So I mean, that's something that obviously we can get you taken care of today or Monday, whatever is best for you and your girlfriend to go through everything. But, you know, most times I come across people are qualified for more than they actually want, which is a great thing because that doesn't make you house poor each and every month. You want to make sure that you're comfortable, make sure that you can still, you know, travel when you want to travel, do what you want to do, and also put money into savings for your future. So we always want to make sure that people are in a comfortable position and not maxing out to put themselves in harm.
Yeah, Zach, what are you paying right now for rent? Are you guys renting now?
No, we're not actually. We don't have any house bills right now. We just like in that $1,500 that I talked about bills wise. That includes our savings, you know, and stuff along with all the regular car payments, insurance, stuff like that.
Okay,
good.
Yeah.
What area of town are you looking to buy in?
I mean, we differ on opinion in that. She wants to stay out in Chesterfield. It's a little expensive out here, so I was thinking like St. Clair Shores area.
So you're going to Chesterfield then?
Yeah, so you're going to Chesterfield, man. Hey, understand that right now, okay? You got a bunch of guys sitting in the room. We're just telling you what the real deal is, okay?
Yeah, I figured that, but I'm trying to convince her on St. Clair Shores.
Well, have fun with it, Zach. We're going to follow up with you. We'd love to get you a real, true approval letter and give you some additional information and confidence so you can move forward and make some great decisions. Looking forward to that.
All right, sounds good, guys.
Nice going, my man.
Have a great weekend. Thank you for the call. Again, if we have open lines, 248-539-9797, we'd love to hear from you.
Zach leads right into what we were talking about. He wants to know what he can get pre-approved for. But there's much more than getting pre-approved just based upon how much money you make and what you net take home. I mean, we got to take a look at his credit. We got to take a look at, you know, where he wants to be, what the property taxes are. Every house has different property taxes, so you're going to qualify differently.
Right, and nonetheless, John, you know, homeowners insurance is part of your house payment. Car insurance isn't something that we actually show as a debt, but yes, car insurance are some incidentals on the side that don't necessarily show up when we're doing a qualification for somebody.
Yeah, but that's why you have to take somebody's complete budget into effect. And as John mentioned to him, you know, you've got to be able to lay your head down on your pillow at night. What are you comfortable with? Right. Just because you can allegedly, the ratios say you can afford a certain payment, why would you want that in your lifestyle? I mean, you're going to do other things. You want to go out. You want to put furniture in the house. You want to go on vacation. You want to go out to dinner. You want to do a lot of other things. There's lifestyle situations that you have to concern yourself too. Do you really want to change your lifestyle and be married to a house?
Well, listen, Harry, you always bring up the fact that, you know, with that, what if that hot water heater breaks, right? What if the furnace goes down? You have to have something to reserve in case those things happen. You're not a renter anymore. You're a homeowner. These are your responsibility. So you have to factor that in as well.
Right, you can't just walk away from those things when you own a house. You have to be prepared to fix them, and fixing them costs money. So you have to have the money to do that. So what we try to do is we set people up for success financially and home ownership.
You want it to be a successful transaction, not a stressful transaction.
Nope.
Right. More housing activity definitely in the third quarter was a little bit down across the United States. Yeah, regionally here, I don't think so. But things are typically slower as we get into the winter months. Now, they are comparing these numbers to some of the best years we've ever had. And I
read that too, Harvey. I saw, I read that article too, and I shook my head just like you did because, we're pretty myopic. We care about what goes on in our area. Remember, Michigan, Detroit metropolitan area specifically, we were the last ones to come out of a recession. And now we're still going gangbusters here. So while the rest of the country, East Coast, West Coast, down south, Southwest is still hot, by the way. We are still hot around here. It is a seller's market. We're going in the winter months. Typically, it's very, very cold here. And that's what happens here. But you can still pick up, Dan Dubinsky will tell you there might be a lack of quality homes on the market, but he'll find them for you.
There you go. Well, it's a great segue too, Dan, because John wants to dive into the renovation loans. These loans give you an opportunity to go ahead and make the house the way you want to make it.
Yeah, well, the question used to be, sir, we've got some homes for you. Are you a handy person? Do you mind doing some updates? And a lot of them would say, no, I don't have any ability or time. Now we have a program or a loan that they don't need to have that ability. The loan, and I'm sure you guys refer people to them to do the construction that makes it all the homes available and get what they need and want.
I mean, and the most important thing on getting into those homes that are going to have $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 in repairs.
That's a lot.
Make sure that you have a realtor on that transaction, because you have to make sure that what you're putting into the house is going to be worth it after. You don't want to buy a house for $100,000, put $50,000 into it, and it's going to turn around and only price for $125,000.
Yeah, so the home that we know in Royal Oaks, the street selling at average of $350,000. We know it has to be $250,000 or less if you need close to $100,000 in improvements.
Right, and you do that stuff right away. I mean, I said this when I was on the radio 3 weeks ago. I had a punch list of things that I wanted to do when I first bought my home. 16 years later, I finished that punch list.
There you go.
Now you can get it done right away, all built into the mortgage. Every $10,000 that your mortgage goes up or down, your payment's only changing by what, $45-50 a month?
$50 on a 30-year amortization, and most, again, it varies depending upon what interest rate you actually get, exactly, and about $70 on 15-year fixed loans. So again, not $10,000 correlates to maybe $50 out of your pocket each month on a 30-year, but $10,000 in credit card debt, John, or having it rung up on a big box store.
$350, $400 a month.
And a lot of times you're just treading water and paying that interest only. Hey, let's move off to a call here. We've got Zarko calling in. Quick question about a refinance. Go ahead, sir.
Good morning, everyone. Though this is a story, actually, I kind of a warning to everyone who is refinancing. This happened actually about 15 years ago to me when I was refinancing. At that time,
Zarko, can you do it in a minute, though? We're up against our break here, so just give us a real quick version of it.
Okay, so anyhow, I was told that the refinancing is going to cost me only $300. I told them, I don't know anything about this, just do the best for me. I signed all those paperwork. A month later, I found out that my principal went up almost $5,000, $4,500. When I went down back to the complaint, she told me, the person who did this, they said, well, I told you $300 out of your pocket. And she did not mention anything about the rest of $4,500 that she enrolled.
Well, the good news is right now, Zarko, disclosures are extremely stringent and specific now. Back 15 years ago, there wasn't something called TRID. There weren't all the compliance documents and regulations. And that lender, whoever set you up, they did not set you up for success. They did not explain it to you. They're going to go ahead and say, well, you signed these documents. We sent them to you. You signed them. Bottom line is that you've got to read. People out there have to read and know and have a relationship with somebody that's going to explain all these things to them. Now, there are documents and disclosures for everything. We have to send out a loan disclosure, a closing disclosure. There are documentations and disclosures going out during the transaction, before the transaction, as a part of the transaction.
Yeah. And on the side, so we're running break-even analyses for you.
That's right. And so what we do is we will tell you, listen, here is the time frame of which you're going to pay these costs, whether you roll them in or you lay them out front, what your break-even time frame is, or if it's worth it. Sometimes, most of the time, we tell people it's not worth it for you to do. But I understand your plight, and I understand out there that there are people that fell into the same thing that you have. It's that's the fault of the lender, in my opinion. I will point fingers at lenders all the time.
Things changed 15 years ago. Yeah, Zarko, everyone's licensed in the industry now, and you have to be dealing with license. And I appreciate the call. It's going to open a lot of people's eyes up. But those days are over with, and there's different guidelines now and such. But I hope you're doing well with your house. How's that going now? Everything good?
Everything is paid off now. I'm
Excellent.
fine.
Perfect.
We appreciate your call, and thank you for the call.
Yeah, it's a good heads up to anyone out there. Always deal with the professional people. And, a bad economy in 2007 here. He changed the mortgage world. And there are some guidelines that really do help, including licensing, and we're all licensed professionals.
Yeah, we've been licensed for years.
All right, that music says that's the end of the show. I want to thank John Kolb always for coming in here, and of course a lot of great information. We're going to have tons of information for the rest of the year. We got the renovation loans, the 203k loans, all sorts of zero down programs, 3% down. If you want to get a mortgage, call Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800 low rate.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Call us during the week. Let us know what you want to hear about on the radio. Give us a heads up. We got topics up that we can talk about all day long.
Oh, we love that kind of stuff. Also want to thank Dan Dubinsky for coming in. Skyward Realty, downtown Royal Oak.
I always learn stuff when I come in.
All right, cool. Check out Dan there. He's on Washington in downtown Royal Oak. We got Pat Caputo coming up with sports. Michigan football here on 97.1 The Ticket. Have a great day.
Hi, Harry Glantz and Dan Burke for Capital Mortgage Funding. We do loans everywhere. In Southfield, in Birmingham, in Royal Oak, in Grosse Ile, in Detroit, in Canton, in Northville. No matter where you live, we want to do your mortgage too. That's Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.